Happy November, friends. Today I want to share with you some of the things that I want to sew for November, which includes a few leftover plans from October. And I also want to share with you what I want to do for the hashtag Let's Sew Blue 2024 challenge that is hosted by the lovely Martika of Martika J Makes. To learn more about the challenge, click the link in my description box below. It will take you to her video where she explains in detail what the challenge is about and what you need to do to participate in the challenge. This challenge is in honor of diabetes, and it brings attention and awareness to those of us who are struggling with the disease or our loved ones who are struggling with the disease. I will be making garments throughout the month, and I will bring awareness to the disease and how I struggle with it myself. I do struggle with symptoms associated with the disease because I'm borderline diabetic. However, I'm not completely diabetic, so I don't have to deal with a lot that goes into being type 1 or type 2 diabetic, but I do struggle with some of the symptoms being as though I am borderline diabetic. So I will be discussing with you some of my challenges with that. That's kind of one of the things that she has requested for us to do, is just open up a little bit about our experience and to tell a little bit of a story of how we struggle with diabetes or how our loved ones struggle with diabetes and how that affects us. So I will be talking a little bit about that throughout the month of November. Let's go ahead and get into today's video, and let's talk about what I wanted to sew in October that I did not get a chance to sew. And I want to kind of start off with sewing the things that I did not get to sew in October, starting with this beautiful animal print here. This is a tan and black animal print fabric that I purchased from, I think this came from Fabric Mart Fabrics a couple years ago. So I haven't had a chance to do anything with that. And I decided that I want to go ahead and try to make, I'll put an inspiration picture here, make a button-up top or some type of top from some of the things that I have pinned. I have a few different ideas of what I want to make with this. One was like a faux wrap and tailor dress, and I was going to use that Simplicity 8832 pattern that I just recently made for that. But I think I want to stick with my shirt dress idea. And for my shirt dress options, I have this pattern here, which is the Simplicity 8546. And I was thinking about doing either view B or this long variation here. So I absolutely love all these different variations, but definitely want to sew something closer to my inspiration picture. I also thought about this pattern, and it's been in my stash for a while as well. This is the Butterick B6640. It's a wardrobe pattern. And I love, love, love all these different variations, including this cute one here with that tie detail. So I'm going to show this pattern again because I have a fabric that I want to share with you that I intend to use for the Let's Sew Blue challenge. And so I'm going to circle back to this pattern. But for now, I'm thinking about using this pattern, this view here, view B, with this. So those are my two options here. And as you can see, both view B and view A are very, very similar. Even the long duster, this here to view C, very similar. So I want to go into the pattern and see what each pattern has to offer. Like if it has a yoke, I know this one for sure has a back yoke. I just cut this out and I cut all the pattern pieces out. You don't have a button placket on this one. So you do have like a self-facing, and you're creating like a self button placket for this one. I'm not sure about this one yet because I didn't cut out the pattern pieces, but I want to go ahead and see what each pattern has to offer and maybe do a mock-up of both before I decide to choose which one I want to sew with. But that's my plan for that. For the Let's Sew Blue challenge, we do have a few guidelines for this challenge. One of the guidelines is that we must sew something that's blue, and if we choose a print, it has to have majority of the print needs to be blue. So this is a print that I have had in my stash for a while, and I purchased this from Hobby Lobby years ago. And at the time I purchased it, I was really afraid of sewing anything with stripes because, you know, a lot of the times you have to try to match stripes. But if you do a dress that's similar to this, it's kind of easy to make these types of dresses and not have to worry about matching stripes, especially if you're using your stripes vertically. So I thought about doing something like this. Another guideline for the challenge is she wants us to do something that is from an inspiration. So a Pinterest inspiration, a Google image, you know, any type of designer sites, things of that nature. She would like for us to pick an inspiration and sew based off that inspiration picture. So I'm thinking about using this fabric to either make a Ralph Lauren dress that I have seen that I absolutely adore and love, or there are a few Neiman Marcus designs, different designers on the Neiman Marcus website that have these different pinstripe or vertical stripe shirts and shirt dresses that I thought that I might try. And so I have this pattern here, the Butterick B 6294. I can definitely do a really nice shirt dress or a duster or even a top out of that. I also saw a beautiful Veronica Beard dress, and I'll put that here. Absolutely stunning, and it reminded me of this Roscoe blouse and dress pattern by True Bias. The only thing that I would need to adjust for is you have, with that Veronica Beard, you have 2 layers of ruffles. And so I would definitely need to add another ruffle if I want it to be an exact replica. I haven't decided if I want it to be an exact replica of that or if I just want to have the one gathered tier. So that is my plan with this fabric here for the Let's Sew Blue challenge. Next, I have this cotton and linen blend shirting fabric that I want to make something with. Now, I purchased this from Joann, and I purchased this with the intention of making 2 garments. So I have 2 separate fabrics that is the same fabric, but different lengths. And so you'll see here in a moment, I'm going to be making another garment with this same fabric. Well, not this same piece, but the same color fabric. And it's going to be a different garment. So the first garment that I want to make is a top. And so I want to make either a top like this. I don't know if I want to make a short sleeve, but maybe a longer sleeve top. I may even lengthen the sleeves. As you can see, this is more of a 3/4 length sleeve instead of a long sleeve. So I may do something like this. And the reason why I chose this is because it doesn't have a stand-up collar. And as you can see here, it looks as if you're just going to have facing pieces and you're going to sandwich your collar in between those facing pieces. So this should be relatively simple and easy to sew. And because I want to sew so many different items for the challenge, I think this would be something that would be really straightforward and easy to sew. If I don't go with that one, I might turn my hand back to this one here. And I think I want to make view A with the ties. And I'll put, again, an inspiration picture here of a beautiful navy blue top that has tie details on the front. I featured that in one of my videos recently, and I absolutely love that outfit. Even the skirt, I may even make that beautiful brown skirt to go with it. So that is what I was thinking about for that. And again, this would be for the Let's Sew Blue challenge as well. Okay, so let's talk about a bottom. So this fabric is a stretch denim that I purchased from Joann several years ago. And I got a little bit over 2 yards of fabric. And as you can tell, it doesn't have a lot of stretch in this, but enough to do what I think I want to do with the project here. So there are a few different options that I am thinking about. The first is a pair of Ann Taylor cropped trousers, and I'll put that here. And I was thinking about using the Sasha trousers by Closet Core Patterns for that. I was also thinking about 2 different Arcus Punto trousers. One is a straight leg, and I'll put that here. And the other is more of a boot cut. And for the boot cut version, I thought about doing the Lander pants for that. And I absolutely love this pattern. It's one of my favorite patterns. It's a go-to pattern for me. So it would be very easy for me to sew it up because I am very familiar with it. I can still fit the size that I chose initially. And so I could definitely just go into the project and get to sewing. Whereas with this one, I'm not familiar with this one at all. I have never sewn this before, but I would love to sew it. And it wouldn't stop me from sewing it just because I have never sewn it before. But I absolutely love this, and I'm thinking about using that. If I don't make a pair of wide leg pants or straight leg pants, I'm thinking about doing a skirt. And again, I saw a beautiful Arcus Punto skirt that looks kind of similar to this, that has like seam details on it that I think I could actually recreate with this fabric here. So for my bottom, that's kind of what I'm thinking about for the bottom. And again, this is going to be for the Let's Sew Blue challenge because it is a blue fabric. So for this piece here, which is the second piece that I have purchased from Joann, the cotton and linen variation here, it's a shirt weight fabric, and I am thinking about using this beautiful pattern here. It is the Vogue V2068, and I'm thinking about using this pattern here, View B, to create this beautiful dress by Ralph Lauren. Now, this dress pattern from Ralph Lauren, it has a frog closure on the front. You do have ties, and those ties at the end of the ties, I believe, have like a frog closure on it. And so it's not identical, it's very similar, but I'm thinking about recreating something like that. And again, this would also be for the Let's Sew Blue challenge. And if you can't tell by now, I am a fan of blue. Blue is my favorite color. And so I'm always sewing with blue, and I have a lot of blue in my stash. So if you can't tell, I'm really excited about the challenge, and I am a fan of blue. So definitely want to sew something like that. If I don't sew this for November, I will most likely sew it for December. Even though it's a shirt weight fabric, I'll sew it, hang on to it, and wear it in spring and summer. I have two toppers that I want to make for this challenge, and I want to make a sweater knit shirt with either this Deer and Doe pattern or this McCall's pattern. So this McCall's pattern, this is the M8194. It is actually a dress, but I want to turn it into a top. And I'll share with you a few inspiration pictures of what I want to sew with this fabric. I found those inspirations on Neiman Marcus. And the first, I think, is a V-neck sweater. It's like a cashmere sweater. And then the second is a crew neck cashmere sweater. And I think the second inspiration photo is a Ralph Lauren, I believe. And I want to make something similar to that. So this is the fabric. It is not cashmere, obviously, but it is a beautiful sweater knit fabric that I purchased from Fabric Mart Fabrics. And as you can see, it's very lightweight, and I'm okay with that because I do want to put this underneath a blazer that I want to make. And so this would be perfect for that. So that is my plan for the first topper. So here is the last pattern and also fabric that I want to use for this challenge. So this is the Simplicity S9716, and I want to make View C or View D, which is the duster. So depending on how much fabric I have, I will go into the project and kind of figure that out and see which version I can make. So this is the long variation and this is the shorter variation. And here is the fabric. Now, I don't know if this would count for the challenge. So it is blue. The background is blue. And on the foreground, you can see you have glitter that's baked into the fabric there, or woven into the fabric. It is very thin and lightweight. But again, I'm using this as a topper, so I'm okay with that. And so, yeah, I don't know if this would count, but I do love it. It looks almost like it can be reversible. So I do like that about the fabric. Very nice. So that is my plan for that. Those are my plans for the month of November, for part of the month of November anyway, and specifically for the Let's Sew Blue challenge that's hosted by Martika. So let me know in the comment section below if you're thinking about sewing for this challenge, and if you are, what you are thinking about sewing. I would love to hear from you all. Thank you for tuning in to today's video. I hope you all have a happy and blessed sewing week, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye.